starting to take your reps and things like that?
Well, yeah, I was in Pittsburgh when we first brought AB in. I actually knew him before. I actually trained with him before we drafted him there. So I knew of him. I used to call him 110 because he had 110 catches out the MAC, way before he got drafted. So, I mean, it's good to see that he's at where he's at. Me and him has always been good. Him and Emmanuel was my wide receivers in the huddle in Pittsburgh. So it was a lot of work put in with him and Emmanuel back in the day. So it's good to see him here. It's good to see his smile. It's good to see him. He's always in shape, right? He's always in shape. He's always loved the game of football. That's what I know about him. And Scotty and them guys, we got an unselfish team. We got a really, really unselfish team. We got a lot of guys that can get the ball in their hand and do something with it. So I don't see it being no different. We'll just try to continue. Like I always say, we'll put the guys in position to make plays according to their skill set, and we'll just continue doing that.
And it seems like, 2 weeks ago, of course, you guys got a lot of penalties in Chicago, didn't protect very well. The last 2 weeks, Byron, the way the offensive line is playing, what's been the key to that? Is it the ability to run the ball? The pass protection can't be any better.
I think we've been great really all year. I think we had that Thursday night was more of a hiccup, and it wasn't the whole game. I really think we protected well for the most part that game, really. Just some things came up throughout the game that made it look that way. So we learned a lot from that game. We learned a lot from the mistakes that we made that Thursday night, and we try to do our best to make sure we don't continue those mistakes.
All right, next we'll go to Greg Allman.
Hey, Byron, was asking Tom yesterday about his stance in shotgun. Obviously, he puts a lot of time and detail into everything in his throwing mechanics. But just want to ask you how involved you were in talking with him and working with him on changing his stance and kind of using a forward stance instead of something staggered one way or the other. What that changes for him.
That's something that we've always worked on, really. From the time he got here. And it's just little things, technique things that allow us to do certain things better. That's all that is. That's all that is trying to make sure he's always in position to get the ball to the right spot. That's what that's really all about.
Troy Aikman had mentioned on air that sometimes having an open, like an athletic stance, makes it easier if the snaps aren't always coming in off the mark. Are there other advantages or other reasons to switch to that?
Yes, but we'll keep him in-house.
Okay. Thanks, Byron.
Thank you.
All right, next we'll go over to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach. You've obviously got a familiarity with Antonio Brown already. What gives you guys the confidence and the belief that some of the issues that surfaced with him with the Raiders and even when he was with the Steelers, what gives you guys the confidence that those won't be a problem here?
Well, what gives me confidence is really just I know him. I know him since he was a kid. I just got confidence that he loved the game of football, and I just know what type of player he is. I know how much he loved the game of football. Obviously, you can't control anything else but the football aspect of it. I love what we have here as a team. I love our locker room. I think our locker room would be great for him. I think he'll fit right into our locker room. I think we got the type of guys on this team all across the board that will help him and whoever along the way to have our mind focused on doing what we need to do to just win football games.
How important and how big is it going to be for you guys, the fact that you're not starting from phase one here, or you're not starting like from the bottom with him? You have a relationship with him, not just you, but Coach Arians has worked with him before. Tom was with him for 11 days, but he's got a friendship with him. You guys can, I'm guessing, be at a place where you can have honest discussions, right? Like you can be real with each other. You don't have to sugarcoat things because you know each other.
And that's all I've ever been with him from day one. We've been extremely honest with each other from the second I met him. And that's always been our relationship. I'm quite sure it's that way with Tom also, and BA. So this is something like I said, I met him, what was that, 2010, 2009. I forget what that was, one of those years. And, you know, I mean, me and him was really good because, like I said, it was him and Emmanuel was my receiver. So all we did was work before practice, after practice, talked about routes, talked about what we need to do to get open. And it shouldn't be no different because of the relationship that we have.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, reminder to media, please raise your hands if you have questions. Now we'll go over to Taylor Jenkins.
Hey, Byron. On the field, Antonio Brown, he's not 6'4" like Julio Jones. He doesn't run a 4.3 like Tyreek Hill. But nonetheless, in Pittsburgh, he was a 7-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro. What did you see from your time either with him in Pittsburgh or after watching it, preparing for it to play against? What did you see that made him such a dominant receiver on the field? What does he do so well? And what can he bring to your offense that you might not have or can just add to this offense?
I remember first meeting him, and before he even really got drafted, telling him he can have an opportunity to be the best in the world. And he laughed at me just because of who we were working out with. I was throwing to a bunch of different wide receivers that were already Pro Bowlers that was established in this league. And here this little kid comes in working out 3 times a day, running as fast, running, catching everything. The things that he can do from a skill set standpoint was unique. And I remember telling him that a long, long time ago, and he laughed at me, thought I was crazy. But he just have that sort of skill set. He really does have that sort of skill set. And I think it's going to match well with what we got here, the guys that we have here, the special guys that we already have here. I think it should match well.
And is there any guy that you've ever coached against, played against, just watched that you could compare his game to, his skill set to?
Not really. It's unique. It's different because he's not a small guy. He's not a tall guy, but he can make big man plays. And I mean, I see Mike and Chris. I see these guys every day, and it's hard to get better than what these guys do on a daily basis. So we got some guys that can really make plays. We got guys that are really good that work at it. You know, all 3 of these guys really work at it. It's going to be some of our hardest workers with Mike, Chris, AB, Scotty, Grunk. Shit, we all work hard. We all work hard, and we'll continue to just keep doing that.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, next we'll go over to John Ledyard.
Hey, Byron, I'm just wondering about play action. Play action for you guys has been almost like an automatic completion. I mean, your numbers are off the charts when you guys utilize play action, but you're still not using it a ton compared to the rest of the league. Just curious what your philosophy and thoughts are on play action. I know that some people believe you have to establish the run for play action to work and be successful, but there's been other studies that show the opposite. Just wondering what your thought process is when it comes to utilizing play action.
Well, we're trying to call plays to be successful, really. We're just trying to have success. We'll have more some weeks than others. We're trying to have positive plays, do things to help us win football games. That's really our view of it, of everything that we do, really, conceptually. We do it from a standpoint of trying to have positive plays and trying to win it down.
Do you think with the addition of Antonio Brown coming in, could you envision, I know it's not something you guys have done a ton, but could you envision more 4 wide receiver sets for this offense?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't say more. We do some anyway. We already do some. Mm-hmm. So we'll do whatever we feel as though is best to put our guys in positions to win that down, whatever that is.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, Coach. That's all for today.
Okay. Thank you.